Let me think about this carefully. The user is asking me to rewrite a video script based on an analysis I just did. The original transcript is from Dr. Mindy Pelz's content that was uploaded as a document for analysis. They want me to keep 80% of original content, change 20% based on audience analysis, change to a new persona, Dr. Audrey Kingsley, targeting older women, write in American English conversational style, around 3,500 words. This is a content adaptation request. The original is educational health content. I should rewrite it substantially in my own voice/words while preserving the educational concepts, autophagy, fasting timeline, the 6 foods. The medical/scientific concepts themselves are factual information that anyone can teach. I'll write this as a fresh script, not copying sentences from the original. Let me write a natural script in Dr. Audrey Kingsley's voice, a 30-plus year practitioner speaking to older women. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Audrey Kingsley, and for over 30 years now, I've been sitting across from women just like you in my practice. First up in Boston, then later down here in Charleston, listening to the same heartbreaking stories over and over again. Women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, telling me they feel like their bodies have just given up on them, the weight that won't come off no matter what they try, the brain fog that makes them forget where they put their reading glasses, the aches that show up out of nowhere, the medicine cabinet that keeps getting fuller every single year. And I want you to hear me when I say this because I mean it with every fiber of my being. Nobody's going to cure you. No doctor, no pill, no fancy procedure. You cure yourself. Your body is the most brilliant self-healing machine that's ever existed on this earth. And today I'm going to show you how to wake it back up without spending a dime, without giving up your morning routine, and without setting foot in another specialist's office. Now, before I go one step further, I need to say something to all of you watching, because I've gotten so many messages from women who tried things they saw online and ended up worse off than when they started. If you're on insulin, if you're managing diabetes with medication, if you've been diagnosed with an eating disorder at any point in your life, if you're severely underweight, or if you're taking medications that absolutely have to be taken with food, please talk to your doctor before changing anything I'm about to share with you. This isn't a one-size-fits-all situation, and I've been doing this long enough to know that the smartest woman in the room is the one who asks questions first. Okay, with that said, let me tell you about something called autophagy. The word comes from Greek, auto meaning self, and phagy meaning eating. So literally, your cells eating themselves. I know that sounds awful, but stay with me here, because it's actually one of the most beautiful things your body knows how to do. Imagine your house. You live in it for years and years, and stuff just accumulates, right? Old magazines in the corner, broken appliances in the garage, that junk drawer in the kitchen that nobody dares to open. Now imagine if your house had its own little cleaning crew that came through every so often and just took out the trash, got rid of the broken stuff, reorganized the good stuff. That's what autophagy does inside every single cell in your body. When your cells notice that no nutrients are coming in, no glucose, no food, nothing, they go into this incredible cleanup mode. They start pushing viruses out. They start kicking bacteria out. And here's the part that gives me goosebumps every time I explain it. They identify the cells that have gone rogue, the ones that are starting to turn cancerous, the old, tired, worn-out zombie cells that are aging you faster than you should be aging. Your body looks at those cells and says, "You're a liability. We don't have the resources to keep carrying you. You've got to go." And it gets rid of them. This is your body's natural defense against chronic disease, against the cancers that scare us, against the dementia we watch our mothers and aunts struggle with, against the heart disease that's taken so many of the men in our generation too soon. And the way you turn this cleanup crew on is by giving your body a break from food. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Audrey, I'm 72 years old. I've been eating 3 meals a day plus a snack since the Eisenhower administration. I can't possibly skip a meal. I hear you. I really do. But what I'm about to tell you might change your mind, because the timeline of what happens inside your body when you simply stop eating for a while is nothing short of miraculous. Around the 8-hour mark, your body starts making the switch. Your blood sugar comes down enough that something flips internally. By 12 hours, your body is producing a healthy dose of ketones. your brain absolutely lights up. That mental fog you've been blaming on getting older, a lot of it lifts. Ketones also turn off the hunger hormone, which is why so many women tell me, I thought I'd be starving by now, but I actually feel fine. At 13 hours, and I want you to really hear this number, ladies, because this is the one that I think every woman over 60 needs to write down. At 13 hours, your growth hormone starts to climb. Growth hormone is the hormone that keeps tissue young. It helps you burn fat. It supports muscle. It's one of the things we lose as we get older. And just by waiting 13 hours between meals, you're producing more of it naturally. There's a study I share with my patients all the time about a group of women who had been through traditional breast cancer treatment. The researchers had them do nothing, and I mean nothing, except wait 13 hours between their last meal of the day and their first meal of the next day. They didn't change what they ate. They didn't exercise more. They didn't take supplements, just 13 hours. And the women in that group had a 64% lower recurrence rate compared to the women who didn't fast. 64% from a free intervention that anyone with a clock can do. Now, I have to be honest with you here, because I've seen comments and I've had patients ask me directly, Dr. Audrey, I did everything right and I still got sick. Why? And I want to address that head on because I think it's so important. Health isn't a guarantee. It's not a transaction. You don't put in 8 hours of fasting and a kale salad and get diabetes-free guaranteed in return. What we're doing is stacking the odds in our favor. We're giving your body more tools, more chances, more opportunities to heal itself. Some of you have already been through cancer treatment. Some of you have it now. Some of you have lost loved ones to it. None of what I'm sharing today is meant to make you feel like you failed if you got sick anyway. Genetics, environment, stress, the cards we were dealt, all of that plays a role. What I'm offering is a way to give your body its best fighting chance going forward, starting today. If you stay in that fasted state past 13 hours, more good things happen. At 15 hours, growth hormone really kicks up. At 17 hours, your cells start repairing themselves and getting rid of the old, aging cells. That's autophagy at full throttle. At 24 hours, your entire gut resets. Stem cells come in and start repairing the lining of your intestines, which is huge if you've been dealing with bloating, constipation, or any of those digestive issues we tend to brush off as just getting older. At 36 hours, your body goes hunting for that stubborn belly fat, the kind that no diet has ever touched, and starts burning it for energy. At 48 hours, brand new dopamine receptor sites start forming. Why? Because your brain needs motivation to go find food, so it reboots the whole reward system. This is one of the reasons why women who've been struggling with low mood and zero motivation often feel like a fog has lifted after a longer fast. And at 72 hours, your immune system itself reboots and recycles. New immune cells. A fresh start. Without a single drug, without a single supplement, just the wisdom your body has carried since the beginning of time. Now, before you start planning a 72-hour fast for next Tuesday, let me give you my honest professional guidance. You do not need to be doing the long fasts all the time. In fact, please don't. The 3-day water fast, that's something I might recommend twice a year, maybe in spring and fall, like a deep clean for your cells, especially good for clearing out those zombie cells that age us quickly. The 48-hour fast, maybe once a quarter, particularly helpful for women who are dealing with persistent low mood anxiety or that blah feeling we all know too well. The 36-hour fast is what I reach for when one of my patients tells me, Dr. Audrey, I cannot lose this weight no matter what I do. Once a month, that can really break through a plateau. The 24-hour fast, basically one meal a day, is wonderful once a week, but please, only once a week. And then the bread and butter for most of you should be somewhere between 12 and 17 hours, just on a regular daily basis. That's it. That's the whole protocol. Most days, you finish dinner by 7, you don't eat again until at least 7 the next morning, and you've already done a 12-hour fast without even thinking about it. Now, I know some of you are watching this thinking, Dr. Audrey, I work, I take care of grandkids, I don't have the luxury of skipping meals. Or maybe you've got a husband who expects breakfast on the table. Or you have to take medication with food. Or you're trying to gain weight, not lose it. I see you, every single one of you. And here's what I want you to know. Even just stretching to a 12 or 13-hour overnight window is enough to get the benefits of that breast cancer study. You don't need to be doing extreme fasts to see results. The simple act of not eating after dinner and waiting until a reasonable hour to have breakfast is, for many of you, the most powerful medicine you've never tried. And for those of you taking medication, please, again, talk to your prescribing doctor. There are usually ways to adjust timing, but that's a conversation between you and someone who knows your full picture. Now let's talk about food, because when you do break that fast, what you put in your body matters enormously. Here are the 6 foods I personally eat almost every single day, and the ones I recommend to my patients to maximize the benefits of fasting and keep that cellular cleanup going strong. The first is avocado. I love breaking a fast with fat, and I know that sounds counterintuitive to all of us who grew up in the low-fat era of the 80s and 90s. But here's the thing, fat shuts off the hunger hormone. So if you eat fat first and wait about an hour before eating anything else, that ravenous, I could eat the whole fridge feeling, it just disappears. I'll often cut an avocado in half, add a little sea salt, and that's my breakfast. Now, here's a little trick I picked up over the years that I love. I'll take that avocado and pile some sauerkraut or kimchi on top. I know, for those of you who didn't grow up eating fermented foods, that probably sounds strange. But hear me out. Sauerkraut is just fermented cabbage, and you can find it at any grocery store now, even down at Publix or Kroger. Kimchi is the Korean version, and it's available almost everywhere these days. When you combine that probiotic-rich fermented food with the healthy fat from the avocado, you're feeding the good bacteria in your gut at the exact moment they're most receptive. It's the most common way I break my fast, and it's helped so many of my patients with bloating, gut issues, and even mood. The second food on my list is cacao. And before any of you get too excited and run out to grab a Hershey's bar, let me clarify. We're talking about cacao, C-A-C-A-O, the pure, unprocessed form of what we know as chocolate. The Mars Company actually funded research on what chocolate does for autophagy, and the results were striking. But you have to choose the right kind. Look for chocolate, where the first ingredient on the label is cacao or cacao butter. Go as dark as you can stand it. 70% cocoa minimum, ideally 80 or higher. The darker, the more cacao, the more benefit. A small square in the afternoon, especially with a cup of tea, is one of life's small pleasures, and now you've got the science to feel good about it. The third food is coffee, and I know I just made some of you very happy. There was a study back in 2014 that looked at what happens to autophagy in the 1 to 4 hours after you drink a cup of coffee. They found increased autophagy in liver tissue, in muscle tissue, and in heart tissue. So your morning cup isn't just waking you up, it's actively helping your body clean house at the cellular level. A few rules though. Make sure your coffee is organic. The conventional coffee industry uses an enormous amount of pesticides, and you don't want to be adding toxins in while you're trying to clear them out. Also, look for mold-free or third-party tested coffee, because moldy coffee is more common than people realize, and it works against everything we're trying to accomplish. A lot of you ask me, Dr. Audrey, can I have my coffee during the fasting window? And for most women, the answer is yes. Black coffee will not break your fast. If you add MCT oil, even better, because it actually helps push you into that fat-burning state faster. Once you start adding cream or sugar, that's when you need to be more careful. If you're just starting out, try black coffee for a week and see how you feel. You might be surprised. The fourth thing on my list is green tea. By now, I think most of you know green tea is a health food, but it really is one of the best alternatives if coffee gives you the jitters. And after a certain age, a lot of us find that we just can't tolerate as much caffeine as we used to. There was a study in 2019 looking at the neuroprotective effects of green tea, meaning how it protects your brain. And they also found that it stimulates autophagy in basically any cell it comes into contact with. It's one of those universal cleanup boosters. I drink at least 2 cups a day. I also want to mention bergamot tea, because there's some really interesting research on bergamot oil and its ability to trigger autophagy in nerve tissue and even in certain cancer cells. Earl Grey gets its distinctive flavor from bergamot, so if you're someone who loves a good cup of Earl Grey in the afternoon, you're already doing yourself a favor. The fifth food is olive oil, a staple in my kitchen and one I want every single one of you to have on your counter. But please, please choose well. Make sure it's organic. Make sure it's not rancid. You should be able to smell it and have it smell fresh and grassy, not stale or musty. Don't leave it sitting on your countertop in the sunlight because the heat and light degrade it. Keep it in a cool, dark cabinet. And here's something most people don't know. Do not heat olive oil up to high temperatures. If you're cooking with it on the stove and it starts smoking, you've just turned a healthy fat into an inflammatory one. For sautéing or anything high heat, use avocado oil. Save your good olive oil for drizzling on salads, on cooked vegetables, on toast. Anywhere it can go in Kleingold or just barely warm. The research on olive oil is gorgeous. It's been shown to have effects on the proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. And ladies, with how many of us have watched our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters lose themselves to dementia, this matters. There's also promising research on olive oil and cancer prevention. I tell my patients to use as much high-quality olive oil as possible, even a tablespoon a day on its own if you're so inclined. And believe it or not, you can have a tablespoon of olive oil during your fasting window and not break the fast. The sixth and final food on my list is curcumin. Curcumin is the magical active compound in turmeric, that bright yellow spice you might recognize from Indian cooking. There are several ways to get it into your daily life. You can sprinkle the dried turmeric powder on your eggs, your roasted vegetables, your soups. We always buy our spices organic because conventional spices can be heavily contaminated. If you really want to take it to the next level, get the actual turmeric root. Most Whole Foods and a lot of regular grocery stores carry it now in the produce section. It looks like a smaller orange or ginger root. You can juice it into a green juice, slice it into stir fries, or steep it in hot water with lemon and honey for a tea. The research on turmeric is wonderful. It's been shown to increase autophagy in pancreatic cells. There's research showing it inhibits the spread of certain diseases by triggering cell death in damaged cells while cleaning up healthy ones. And here's the trick. Pair your turmeric with black pepper. The compound in black pepper called piperine helps your body absorb curcumin much more deeply. So if you're making golden milk, throw in a pinch of black pepper. It's a little secret that makes a huge difference. Okay, let me wrap this up with what I really want all of you to take with you today. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about doing extreme fasts or eating exotic foods or turning your kitchen into a science experiment. This is about playing the long game with your health, picking one or two things from this list and making them part of your daily life, week after week, month after month, year after year. That's how real healing happens, not in dramatic transformations, but in the small, consistent choices we make every single day. If you're not putting any effort into stimulating autophagy, your cells are slowly building up with damage, with toxins, with debris that your body can't keep up with on its own. And that's the real story of chronic disease. Not bad luck, not bad genes, but a body that never got the rest it needed to take out its own trash. Start small. Try a 13-hour overnight fast tonight. Have an avocado for breakfast tomorrow. Switch to organic coffee next time you go shopping. Add a sprinkle of turmeric to your dinner. These tiny choices, repeated, are how women in my practice have come off medications, lost weight that wouldn't budge for decades, gotten their energy back, and started feeling like themselves again, sometimes for the first time in 20 years. You are not too old. You are not too set in your ways. You are not too far gone. I have watched women in their late 70s make changes that completely transformed how they felt within just a few months. Your body is waiting for permission to heal itself. Today, I'm asking you to give it that permission. If this video helped you, do me a favor and leave a comment, letting me know what fasting window you're currently doing or what you're going to try starting tonight. I read every single one, and I'm working on a video specifically for those of you who've asked about medications, demanding work schedules, and how to do this when you're caring for grandkids or a spouse. Take care of yourselves, ladies. You've spent your whole lives taking care of everybody else. It's your turn now.